All right. I think I'm ready. Are you? I don't know.
Scott,
Fuck right now. What?
are you going to trim your poofy beard?
You know, I was looking at it in the mirror. I was sitting down over there. And
It's really poofy.
I don't think I'm going to trim
Scott,
it. I like it.
Oh, no, please. It's starting to look like the guy from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer beard.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm going for.
No,
I'm
please
glad
don't.
you picked that up. Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view,
Vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view. Vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Hey everyone, welcome to Vow to View, your Doof Media podcast all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. My name is Elise Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together, we're the Dailies.
Elise.
You're right, Scott. It is Vow to View. This is the weekly podcast where my husband, Scott, and I each select a movie where we loosely tied to a theme of our choosing, and we make each other watch it. This week we continue our theme, Murder, She Wrote, or Murder, He Wrote. We each picked one of our favorite films about murder and journalism. This week is Scott's pick, La Confidential.
So you're just taking over the whole show. You're doing
Yeah.
your parts, you're doing my parts.
You didn't stop me.
I'm not going to interrupt you, babe.
couldn't.
That would be rude.
I know, I'm the only one that interrupts
It is
here.
literally impossible to interrupt you.
I
You will
know.
just keep going.
It's
You'll
a
just
talent.
plow right through.
It's a talent.
Yeah, I guess it comes from having
teaching.
to talk over children all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing...
So tell us, Scott, what do you want to tell us about?
I don't know. Everything's backwards now.
Yeah.
Am I playing the Elise in this role?
Yeah.
You know, I've been thinking about my fingernails. And
What about your fingernails,
a little
Scott?
hangnaily.
Do you have a hangnail? Why
Yeah.
did you pick fingernails of all the things?
I'm just talking about body functions that are random
See, that's not a
and weird.
function. That's just a bodily part. Do you have any bodily ailments right now?
No.
This is the bodily ailment section
It
of the
is.
show.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
No?
I'm
No body
good.
ailments?
I'm good.
So should I talk about arnica then right here?
No, we're not.
My arnica cream, my arnica tablet.
Elise has a rash and she wants to talk about it for some reason.
I mean, it's the bodily ailment section.
it is not though. You just made that up. It's not in the script.
Scott, it's in the script.
So we are here today to talk about the 1997 film L.A. Confidential.
Yeah.
But
How old were you in 1997?
I was 12 years old.
So did you watch this in 1997?
I don't know.
I don't think you did. Okay.
Why don't we wait till we get to that section of the
Okay.
show?
We will.
Before we do
Fine.
that.
We'll just wait.
This is chaos. It's you.
Whoa! Yep.
But first,
Yep.
time
It is time for what?
for your favorite part of the show.
Our favorite part of the show.
It is time for the best.
That's.
Oh,
We're just stealing everybody's parts on this show. You're doing mine. I'm doing yours. Okay. You go ahead. Roll reversal this week.
It's time for the Bachelorette. Oh, baby. Oh. Oh my god. That was good, Elise.
My tongue touches the microphone on
Oh, gross.
accident.
That was good, Elise. I'm proud of you.
You liked it?
Yeah.
I think that the cough really adds something.
Sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. All right. So this is what week are we on the new season? Is this week
This
3?
is week.
I can't even
This
keep
is
track.
week 3. Yes, this is week 3.
So talk to me about what happened this week, Elise.
So this week the boys again had 2 group dates and one one-on-one date. The first group date was the guys going and getting a taste of what it would be like to be a dad. So they had to go through like the whole baby thing, changing a diaper, feeding the baby. They
Labor.
breastfeeding. They got the whole shebang. Not only what it would be like to be a dad, but just to be a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of want you to go through that labor simulator.
sure, we can do it.
It just really looked like they were shocking your abdomen is all that you were
Yeah,
doing.
it's just intense electrical stimulus to your abdomen
Yeah.
that cramps up your muscles and
Yeah.
stimulates the contraction
Yeah.
of labor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked painful.
I think you should try it.
Sure. Sign me up.
I think we'd have to shave
So, ow.
a bit first.
So
what?
There were two characters we talked about last week that their narratives continued this week.
Yes.
The first one being
Luke, because Luke was on.
that's bullshit.
Oh, not this date.
Bullshit born again man.
They were each on a different date. This was Cam's date. This was the date that Cam was on, ABC. So let's talk about him first, because he was on this group date.
Okay, yeah, this guy. I mean,
What about this guy? What about Cam? Tell me about Cam.
He's playing the classic villain, or one of those. There's gonna be multiple villains on this season, but
He's playing a villain, but he's not really playing the stereotypical villain. I don't think he's playing a desperate man seeking a woman who is overcompensating.
Well, he did the thing on this date where he
And that's a villain, evidently, too. In
where
this
he like
show.
walks in and is like, "Can I just have a minute of her time?" And
she's clearly talking to someone and doesn't want to talk to him.
They're just like, no, which both of our characters.
No, they actually both said that yes in a minute, and then he was like, "Okay, I'll just go wait outside."
And then he came back in.
He didn't really wait outside. And the conversation that he interrupted was actually a fairly serious conversation.
Yeah, and not to be, shallow, but he was wearing a hoodie with a sports coat over it.
Yes, he was.
Which is
already strike number 1.
terrible.
Strike 1 was that. Strike 2 is the coming up. And
yeah, so
always interrupting. And then strike 3 happened much later in the show. We'll get to,
So he threw a hissy fit when someone else returned the favor by coming up and interrupting him. And that kind of made her, what's her name? Hannah? Sure.
Hannah B.
That made her kind of uncomfortable. So he's like in the
he's on thin ice.
Yeah, there you go. There's the expression I was looking for. He's on thin ice. And so he goes into the final rose ceremony and he says, "I got to do something about this."
Yeah, he does.
So he brings out, he goes
what
nuclear.
Every person does in order to try and stay on the show. They tell a sad story. Now, Scott, his sad story was a little bit of an interesting sad story in the sense that maybe isolated, they could be very tragic incidents, but altogether, it just seemed like he was trying to throw together everything that happened in his life that was remotely sad in order to try and make it a really impactful.
First of all, we have to say that the editing of the story makes it seem like he was tossing the stuff all at once. It might not have been that way, but the way the editors threw it together, it made it seem like that. But he's like, "Yeah, I found out, I just my leg locked up one day, and then the doctors told me I was going to have to get it amputated." Now, importantly,
he still has both of his legs.
Still has both of his legs.
Not
the show
amputated.
did not show us the conclusion of that part of the story to see why it ended up he didn't need it amputated. But then he's like, and then the day before I was going to have to go into surgery, my grandmother died, and then my puppy that I've had for 10 weeks,
I had to give it away because he was going to have another surgery, but we didn't really know what that surgery was for. Yeah. So maybe it was not that he needed his leg amputated. Maybe they were just fixing some veins.
Maybe they took the puppy's leg and attached it to him.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maggie is leaving the room now because she doesn't want to hear this.
She's disgusted.
What are you doing?
Well,
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the other thing was, and this is, again, smart editing on their part, right before that conversation, she's like, "I am ready to have fun. This is the before the final rose party. I don't want any bummers today. I don't want any serious conversations."
Bummers by Cam.
Right, and that's great. And then, of course, some guy threw him under the bus and was like, "Yeah, he was telling us before he was talking to you that he was going for the pity rose today."
Yeah, and you know what? I like Mike. Mike, he seems like a solid guy. Mike is from Texas. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders, except for the fact that
it doesn't matter if he's from Texas. There's a lot of assholes in this state.
Yeah, Cam and Mike are both from Texas.
Well, there you go. There's strike.
Yeah. One's from San Antonio / Dallas. One is from Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Guess which one's from Austin?
Probably Cam.
It's Cam.
Yeah, he seems like an Austin.
The type of Austin people.
The bad type of Austin.
I know. Yeah, because my sister's there, so some of them are good. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So I like Mike, except, and I just mind him telling the truth about Cam and him saying that he wanted to get the first sit down. I did have a problem when he said that Cam mentioned he was trying to get the pity rose, and maybe he had said that and they just edited it out. I don't know, but that was a lie. That was him exaggerating a little bit more, and that bothered me. But because I liked Mike up until that point.
But his point was
true.
Was true that Cam was thinking he was going to go home, and he whipped out. And then like when he finally did get sent home, he's like crying and he's like, I just can't. I opened myself up in ways that I never have before, and I just can't believe someone would accuse me.
And if you know the real Cam,
manipulation.
Why does he talk about himself in third person so much? That is weird. Okay, so done with Cam. Moving on to
Goodbye, Cam.
Date number 2 of the evening, which was a one-on-one date where they were supposed to go sailing, except it was canceled because Hannah got dehydrated because she's probably drinking too much alcohol and caffeine to stay awake, and because she's supposed to be drinking the whole time of the show,
and of course
she got dehydrated.
The show fucking plays this up in the worst way. It's like shot of ambulance coming to the mansion,
her getting blood
taken, and it's like literally what they did is they hooked her up to a saline drip. They gave her some saline, and then they released her. She's probably in the hospital for an hour.
Yeah, but anyways, she went on this date with Keanu Reeves is on the show. His name is Connor.
It's like a nasally Keanu Reeves.
I'm pretty sure he's from Dallas.
It's like if you took Keanu Reeves and Ray Romano and combine them together, that's who this guy is. It's the worst. I hate his voice. And maybe it's mean to judge someone by their voice because I don't have the best voice in the world. But you know what else it is? It's fun.
It would be mean, except for really the reason you get on the show is to get judged. I mean, let's be honest. So I'm trying to find Connor. Because I'm pretty sure Connor is also... Oh, no, he's not. Is that the Connor? Oh, no. Yeah. This was like a Texas week. Connor is from Dallas.
Oh, my God.
So Connor is from Dallas. Cam is from San Antonio.
Like, go to a store.
Cam is from Austin. Mike is from San Antonio. He lives in San Antonio now, but originally from Dallas.
This is not that important. Let's move on.
I'm just talking about Texas pride. There's always people from Texas on here.
Yeah, and they're always terrible.
The Bachelor was from there and he was good. JoJo was from there and she ended up being the Bachelorette. I love me some JoJo.
You're proving my point for me.
They're not bad people. I love JoJo. She has great candles.
Questioning glance is what I'm giving you right now.
Anyways, so that was the one-on-one date. We're done with Connor. We're done with that date. It was boring, but we just could not stop.
Whoa.
Because he kept talking like that. It was ridiculous. Oh, and some guy evidently left off camera because they found out something about how he is a bad person. Yeah. Evidently he doesn't treat women nicely.
Way to screen your men, Bachelor.
Yeah. But at least they took him off before he was really well developed on the show, I guess.
So let's move on to Born Again Bullshitter.
Yes, let's move on to the last date where the men had to take pictures with pets, and
it was a horribly obvious sponsorship by the film.
It was
Secret Life of Pets 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awful. The sponsorships this year are like worse than ever. Like there's McDonald's chicken nuggets like everywhere.
Yeah. What's up with the McDonald's chicken nuggets?
Know.
I just think that's disgusting.
McDonald's gave them a lot of money.
I don't like McDonald's nuggets. Chick-fil-A nuggets though.
So they're doing like a Secret Life of Pets 2 theme. So they're doing
it was awful.
Photos with pets, and Born Again guy is there. And he has decided...
Luke. His name is Luke.
I don't need to know that.
Okay.
He's decided that he is in love with the Bachelorette, and therefore no other man is allowed to be around her, ignoring the fact that he is on a game show in which 30 men compete for the love of one person. So he's like being really creepy and obsessive, and like if she's ever alone, like he's like, I'll walk you to your dressing room so you can change. That's a little weird. And he's just basically being an insecure, obsessive dork, and she's like visibly annoyed. And once again, I like this girl because she basically like he's like hanging around. He's doing the same thing the other guy did, which is trying to interrupt other people's conversations to get in time with her. And she basically is like, look,
I want to make my own calls.
Yeah.
I want to call my own shots.
I will talk to you before the end of the night, but leave me the fuck alone right now. Leave me alone. And he's like, I'm just going to go. I don't even want to be on here anymore. Of course, he didn't do that. And of course, he got a rose still for some fucking reason. And
at the end of the show, he didn't get the rose on the date, which is good.
No, but he's still on the show.
Well, you know why he's on the show?
Because he's entertaining.
Producers say, you need to keep Luke P.
So they can have the conversation about how Jesus still loves her. Because she did naughty things with people. He still loves her, though. Obviously. That's how it works. Yeah. It's literally like the cornerstone of the religion. Anyway, I hate him. I hate him so much.
Yeah,
He's so
Luke
terrible.
P is my least favorite. Let's see, who is my favorite right now? I do like Mike.
Do you not like appreciate the irony of the fact that you've been saying like Mike like 4 times?
I've been saying it all the time, and I know it because of the movie. I like Garrett and I like Tyler.
I don't know who any of these people are.
Who else do I like? I like the pilot. He's silly.
I just like, I think he's cool. I mean, my dad's a pilot. I like pilots, but he's one of those pilots that like wants everybody to know he's a pilot, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's his shtick.
Yeah.
So I like the pilot. I think his name is Tyler. No, not Tyler. What is his name? Then there's a guy that looks like one of the other people from previous season who was a player. Let's see. Peter. His name's Peter. Oh, little Peter. He's got little baby cheeks still. Peter.
All right, Elise, that's enough of that. It is time to talk about your favorite section of the show.
It is my favorite section of the show.
Where you get to brag about all the good things that are happening to you. It's time.
Excuse me.
For Rosie.
That's so rude.
And Thornies.
So I share some good things, but I also share some bad things.
Yeah, but
my thorn isn't really that bad right now. I was just trying to think of something.
Your thorn is like...
It's first world problems.
Go ahead and tell. This is the part of the show where we talk about the good and the bad things that happen to us each week to keep us centered and happy.
Yes, balance. And every yin has a yang.
That's true.
Yes. So it is now the beginning of summer, which means I have my own schedule and means I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. But what also means is now that the dogs have not adjusted to the summer schedule. And despite my nudging of Scott at 7 in the morning, when his alarm has already gone off multiple times and he snoozed, who has to wake up during summertime to let out the dogs? It is I. Griping Elise.
Yes.
Yes.
My alarm.
The dogs have not adjusted to summer, which means they're trying to wake me up at 5 a.m. despite my yelling at them at 5 a.m.
Okay, let's level set here. The dogs have not adjusted to summer, she says, on the first day of summer vacation.
I mean,
I'm sorry the dogs take longer than less than a day to adjust.
They need to learn quickly.
The other thing
all
is,
about
the reason why my alarm was going off is because today is a Monday, but it is Memorial Day in the States, so I had off today.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I did not adjust my alarm for the
so
one day
we both
I
had off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always get them on the weekend. I let them out on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I let them out on the weekday.
Okay, like letting them out is getting up and opening the back door. It's not like...
It does not matter.
It's not like a hard job.
It's a hard job getting out of bed in the morning.
I'll tell you what. I'll take over. I'll let them out on the weekdays. I'll take over that job. And you will take over the job of making the bed on the weekdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the summer exchange. Let's shake on it.
Okay, there we go.
The summer exchange.
You did the thing where you clasped my hand too soon. You got to wait until the edge.
Ah, yes. L to L.
L to L.
L to L.
This is great audio.
Ah, yes.
We're shaking hands right now.
It's the perfect handshake. It's a little firm. You squeeze the hand so that they know that you are strong. Women, you still give firm handshakes too.
Not too firm.
No, you give a firm handshake.
It's science.
You let them know you are intimidating.
Are you ready for my thorn now?
Oh yeah, what's your thorn? You haven't gone yet.
You forgot because you just start on your own and you just don't stop.
You just word vomit sometimes. What's your thorn, Scott?
My head got burned.
You kind of hurt my hand. He squeezed really hard.
You kept squeezing hard, so I kept squeezing hard.
But I was squeezing hard because you were squeezing hard.
My head got a little sunburned. So I'm bald.
Yeah. What?
Breaking news for the world.
You're bald?
I don't have any hair on my head.
Is that by choice?
No, it
or
all
is that
fell
by...
off. It just all fell off. I woke up one day. Yeah. You know, like in the Santa Claus, when like he shaves his beard and then it all
immediately
grew
back.
back. It's like the exact opposite of that happened to me.
That's a shame, isn't it?
Like I grew out my hair, and then the second it finished growing out, it just all fell off. It's sad. It's really sad. But it's bald, and we went. It's a holiday weekend, so we went and did stuff this weekend. We were outside on
we
Saturday.
We don't ever do stuff.
Not for very long. We were not outside for very long. Like I didn't think. I was like, I'm not. I was like, should I wear a hat? Should I not wear a hat? And
no,
like,
no need for a hat.
Oh, yeah, it's burned head, top of the head, very spicy.
It's not as red anymore, but it was pretty red.
I mean, I don't like. I'm Italian, so I don't. When I do burn, I don't.
You're
burn.
Italian?
Yeah. God, it's got
a bald
information.
Italian man.
Yeah.
I thought Italians weren't really bald.
According to what?
The Godfather.
Oh, okay. So you're basing all Italian. It is the true story of our entire history.
Have you made me a cannoli today?
I have not.
Well, you better.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, my head got burned. I didn't come up with this. Elise came up with my rose and thorn this week. So.
Let's say why I came up with your rose and thorn this week.
Because I asked you to.
Yeah, because you didn't want to do the work. Mm-hmm. So I did the work.
Yeah.
And now you're complaining.
I'm not complaining.
Yes, you are.
I'm not complaining.
You're complaining.
I'm just explaining. They're like, wow. I know our audience is probably thinking like, wow, Scott, that sounds like an Elise level thorn, like a bullshit first world problem me type thorn. And the reason is because Elise came up with it. I love you.
I'm not giving great audio right now.
Hey, Elise.
What?
Can we move on to happy times?
I don't know, Scott. Can we?
Can you tell me about your rose? Please.
I could
Because it'll make you happy. And
I could tell you about my rose, but I'm going to choose not to tell you about my rose. I'm going to choose to tell everyone else about my rose. And if you happen to be around and hear it, then that's fine. At this point in time, I'm not talking to you. Okay. It's not to you. It's to everyone else.
I accept it. I understand it. Please continue talking to me.
Okay. Not talking to you. So, anyways, there's this thing at Pure Barre, which I go to regularly.
Now, what is? Have you ever explained to the people what Pure Barre is?
Well, I'm not talking to you, sir. Stop talking to me. I was going to explain what it was, but now I have to stop and tell you to stop talking to me. But that makes me talk to you, which is really frustrating. Anyways, so Pure Barre is small movements that you use that are kind of ballet derived. I don't know. Anyways, it's my workout. And so I go to Pure Barre. I go fairly regularly, and they have these milestones. So like after your 100 classes, you get a pair of socks that say 100 Club, and you get to sign the bar in the studio, and they take your picture, and it's this like acknowledgement and celebration. So it's the 100 Club, the 250 Club, the 500 Club. Then some studios do a 750, but ours decided to jump from 500 to 1,000 because 1,000 is a much like a bigger accomplishment than 750.
It is.
Obviously.
It is a higher number.
So anyways, I did my 100 Club within the first year. I did my 250 Club right after my first year anniversary of the studio. And then today I took my 500th class, taught by my sister, who has come and moved back home and is now teaching at the studio. So that was kind of special. So to get to have my 500th class taught by my sister on a holiday weekend, it was just grand. So I got my socks. I forgot to sign the bar, so I'll sign the bar next time.
You didn't sign the bar?
I'll sign the bar next time that I'm in. And I got my picture. Yay.
Are they going to post it on the website?
They already posted it on the Insta, but you don't follow it, so you didn't see it.
What about the Facebook? Is there a Facebook? Pure Barre Richardson.
I don't know. There is a Facebook, but I don't know if the Instagram and Facebook are linked. Anyways, so I got the 500 Club, and you know what? It's summertime now. So
it's summer what?
Summertime now.
Summertime. There you are. I see you.
Oh, it's on there?
Oh, no, that's you and your sisters. Well, you and your sisters are like on the main page.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Good job, us.
Yeah. This is crazy. Hey,
Hey, what?
that was a good rose. I'm proud
I
of you.
know. Thank you.
Are you talking to me again? You seem like you are. Did you forget? Did you forget that you weren't talking to me? This is what happens. Oh, she's not talking to me again. Hey, Elise, my rose is you. You gave me a delicious, nutritious,
Not nutritious at all.
It's only half a stick of butter.
3/4 of a stick of butter.
You made me a key lime pie this weekend.
did.
Key lime pie is my favorite pie.
It's a pretty good
ever.
pie.
I love key lime pie. And you made that for me this weekend after we got some peach salsa. The place that we went where I got my head burned is a place called Ham Orchards. It is a peach and I guess blackberry. I didn't know they did blackberry until we were there. It's mostly a peach orchard.
Actually, all of the food that's there, I think that they sell in their farmers market, they grow.
Yeah, but it's like it's like peaches, babe. Millions of peaches.
Yeah, it's known for peaches.
Peaches for free.
Every year you sing
Millions
that
of
song when we go
peaches
out
for
there.
me.
Yep. It's true. So continue to please
Peaches
describe what Ham's Orchard is.
From a can. They were put there by a man. Okay, so Ham's Orchard is just a place where I think they were just like an orchard. They were just a peach orchard, and then they started expanding out, and then they said, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we like
Sold barbecue.
And so they started making like pulled pork with peach, and it's just grown into this thing where like a bunch of people come. They have a big store where you can buy
It's like
fresh everything.
homemade peach ice cream and homemade strawberry ice cream. It's so good.
So we went there, and we spent a few hours there. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
It's in Terrell.
The middle of nowhere, Texas. And got some delicious peach salsa. We got some peaches. You're going to make a peach pie.
I am going to make a peach pie.
And we picked some blackberries.
Which I've never gotten to do before, so that was
fun.
really fun.
Except for that guy, that man.
I mean, yeah.
So here,
blackberry picking
let's
etiquette.
talk about blackberry picking etiquette 101.
Yes.
When there are 40 lines of blackberry bushes and you're moving down your line, it is considered, to me, rude to select the line that I'm already in, walk ahead of you further down the line, and then start picking off the bushes that we're going to get to but haven't gotten to yet. So by the time we get to the bushes, there's nothing there left
Especially
at all.
after you are in front of the person and are halfway down the line before.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yes,
Like,
no.
there's so many open lines. Like, there were so many of them, and actually it turned out our line was a bad one. So if they had gone one over, they would have gotten way more blackberries instead of just walking in front of us. And, like, come on, people.
It's very true.
It's man. But it's my rose, so I can't talk about bad things. So I
already
got some
did.
peach salsa, which is delicious. I love peach salsa. It's so good. Because, like, I'm not
We
like
don't have any chips for those right now.
I know, we're going to have to buy some chips. I'm not like a spicy guy. Like, I don't.
Oh, I love the spicy
I don't like
heat.
a lot of spice, but I do like sweetness. So like sweeter salsas are my jam. And this peach salsa, I like peach salsa just across the board, but this is like the best peach salsa I've ever had. It is so good. I love it. We got two jars of it.
2 jars. We'll go back at some point during the summer so you can have some more because I'm sure the jars, as soon as they're open, won't last very long.
No, they won't. And of course my key lime pie, which I loved.
Yes.
So good.
Delicious start to the summer.
In fact, as soon as we finish recording here, I feel like by necessity,
You're going to
I
need
have
one.
to go eat a slice of it. So
Well, you know what? We'll just see
do that.
if there's any left. I
So
might
got
have cleaned out the
sunburned,
fridge.
But I
Oops.
got some. Do they sell limes?
It is a frozen key lime pie.
Do they
It
sell
is
limes at Ham Orchard?
I
Why
didn't
didn't you
see
get
any.
me fresh limes.
for anybody that would like to make this key lime pie. It is not a recipe that I came up with. It is Ina Garden's frozen key lime
Just call her
pie.
Barefoot Contessa. Nobody
Barefoot
knows her
Contessa.
as Ina Garden's.
It's the Barefoot Contessa
you
from
go.
Food Network. Her
There you
frozen
go.
key lime pie recipe. It is delicious.
We will put that in the show notes if Elise remembers to give it to me
It's a
before
homemade
I publish this.
graham cracker crust with the key lime pie filling.
Yeah.
With a can of sweetened condensed milk in it, fresh lime juice, fresh lime zest, egg yolk, and then topped with homemade whipped cream. And that's my favorite part, is the homemade whipped cream.
It's my least favorite part.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Now,
unfortunate.
I have a follow-up question for you.
Yes.
Did you use a key lime in the pie?
No, and I know that there's a difference, but the recipe actually only called for limes and not key limes.
Well, then it is not a key lime pie.
It's a lime pie.
It's a lime pie.
I made you a lime pie.
I feel lied to. Okay, well, that's our roses and thornies, unless you had anything else you wanted to say.
No.
You know, I used to say thornies ironically.
And now
I just
it's a habit.
And I just...
Rosies and thornies.
Yeah, I just
know.
did it, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I've rubbed off on you.
I know. I don't like it.
You should. You should love it.
All right, Elise, it is time to talk about the movie.
Okay, the movie that we just watched.
Mm-hmm. We just watched it. We're rolling right into the studio from the theater.
Rolling
and by the
with
theater,
my homies.
I mean my couch. Elise, I selected for you this week for our Murder, She Wrote section.
Yes.
The 1997 film L.A. Noire. And I had the IMDb open, but I closed it.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm stupid. No, because L.A. Noire isn't even right. L.A. Noire is a video game that is actually very similar to L.A. Confidential, but is not the same. L.A. Confidential is the name of the movie. And it is a movie that's directed by Curtis Hanson. It's based off of a James Ellroy novel that I've never read, but I hear it is actually very
Based on the movie, I think it would be good.
Yeah. It is starring Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, and Guy Pearce. And Kim Basinger. And Danny DeVito. And here is the summary.
And who's the guy that plays the captain? He's in a bunch of stuff too.
James Cromwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like
great.
him.
I love him a lot too.
He's pretty good.
He was the farmer in Babe.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. All right. So here is Elisa's summary of L.A. Confidential.
La Confidencia.
It was not a stormy, but just a dark night when Ed Exley arrived on the scene of the crime at the Night Owl, hoping that this would be his first lead detective case. The case was quickly taken over by Captain Dudley Smith and solved almost faster. Or was it? Along the way, Ed Exley, Bud White, and Jack Vincennes discover that the Night Owl case was not as open and shut as it seemed. The three LA police officers discover a corrupt police scandal involving drugs, prostitution, and blackmail. And in the end, someone has to take the blame. How
That's
was
pretty good,
Thank
wasn't
you.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I was hoping you would do like Danny DeVito, like end it with like
Hush, hush.
on the down low, very QT, and of course, hush, hush. Because that's if you've seen the movie, you'll get it. You'll get what I just said there.
Yeah, I saw the movie.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people. Remember, we're not talking to each other. We're just talking through each other.
Yeah. We don't really like each other.
L.A. Confidential is
Yeah.
a movie I did not, as you hinted at, I did not see in the theater. I was 12 years old. This is a rated R film. However, I do remember my parents watching this movie at home. I think they probably rented it from Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster. So many fond memories of Blockbuster.
And I believe I was in the room for it, but when I was 13, this movie did not really grab my attention because it is not really, I think, the type of movie that's going to grab some of the attention. Of course, I don't think I lasted through the sexy times part, or that would have grabbed my attention, although my mom would have put her hands over my eyes. But I saw this movie later. I think it was when I was like really diving into noir filmmaking, and I was really into it. And this is like, this is not like a traditional noir film. This is kind of like 90s does noir, where it's a much bigger like Hollywood type production, lightened up version of noir. This is not near as gritty. Why is your face making that? Oh, because
I'm sorry, the washer.
The washer is going off. I don't think it's being picked up. So, and it's so long. But there's something about this that there is something true to the noir type of style that I really. How is this long? I don't even think.
I really hope that they picked it up because it is really long. I should probably see if I could turn that off.
Yeah, our washing machine sings a song when it's done.
It's a pretty long song. For
some reason.
It just finished.
I don't know if the mic picked it up or not, but anyway. Yeah, this like it is not your traditional noir story, but it does have a lot of some of the elements of noir that I really like.
So let's talk about the elements of noir. What are the elements of noir movies?
Well, normally there's
this is not the first noir movie that we've watched, but I don't know if we went over the elements last time.
There's a pretty girl. There's a pretty girl who needs help.
Okay.
There is a detective of some kind, and they're usually corrupt. The big thing about noir, I mean, it's means black. So like it is
dark.
It is dark. It is seedy. It is dark both in tone and in style. It is normally dealing with the corrupt underbelly of humanity. Like the whole thing with noir is that like everything's bad. Like no matter where, the bad guys are bad, the good guys are bad, everybody in between is bad, and you have a bad cop or a bad, sometimes private detective, sometimes actual police force detective caught in the middle of it, usually, and normally it doesn't end too great. Normally it doesn't end with the bad guys getting what they deserve, because the whole thing is that everything is just going to be bad.
Everything's bad. Bad.
And it's usually kind of like
take your Peaches song and turn it to the bad song. I just wanted to explain that because I don't think you got it and I don't think you appreciated it.
Now, have you ever listened to the Peaches song that I sing?
Yes, you made me listen to it last time that we drove to Hams.
That sounds like something I would do.
Just on loop.
Anyway.
Yes.
LA Confidential.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So this is a version of that. It has a lot of those elements. It has
the pretty lady.
The pretty blonde bombshell on the cover.
Yeah.
It has
the cops.
It has 3 cops, all not they're not all corrupt, but they're all bad in very different
kinds of ways.
They're on a spectrum. Yeah.
You know, you've got the like bad, the good bad.
Well, I don't know.
The bad, but like
I think they're all bad in their own kind of ways, because like, you know, Russell Crowe's character, I just forgot his name. White, something White. Bud White is your typical like
Bud Light.
Your typical like brute cop, where like he doesn't follow any of the rules. He just doesn't care.
Bashes.
But he has a sense of justice, right? Like his thing is
protect the women.
Like that's his thing. Like
because he couldn't protect his mom.
Exactly. So he just beats the shit out of anyone he thinks is abusing anyone ever.
So he takes that he learned from his dad and turns what his dad did with it from bad to good.
Kind of. But then we see he does it to Kim Basinger later, so he's not perfect. Guy Pearce is your straight-laced, follows the rules by the book detective, but actually he's like super sneaky and selfish and self-motivated. So like
he's the snake.
Right, but like the thing about him is like I think it's good to report the cops for doing his kind of character setting moment is when the fight amongst those arrested Hispanic guys who beat a cop. And so all the cops go down and beat the shit out of these Hispanic guys, and he files the report because he believes in the truth. And that is good. But then you see like the motivating factor behind it is not necessarily because it is the good, right thing to do. It is because he can use it to gain leverage to help his career. And so he's kind of corrupt in that regard. Mm-hmm. And then you have Kevin Spacey's character, Jack Vincennes, who is the like, he's a different kind of corrupt. Like he's the looking out for himself and only himself type of corrupt. So he like works with the hush hush reporter played by Danny DeVito to get choice arrests. He's like, he's leveraging he's the star, right? He doesn't want to really be a cop. He just wants to be the star. And he takes money and bribes to help out that reporter get great stories.
So if you were to pick one of the 3 that you think was, let's go from like worst to best.
I don't know, because I don't know if the story wants you to do that. I think the story wants you to see each of these cops is problematic in their own way, and they kind of learn sort of throughout the story how to be better.
So why won't you do it?
Because I don't know I don't know if I could. Which is the worst out of these 3? Mm-hmm. Probably Kevin Spacey's character, probably Jack Vincennes, because
that's why he dies.
He does.
I'm sorry.
It's not spoilers.
It's not a spoiler?
We have spoiled every single movie we've talked about on this podcast before.
I was trying not to spoil in my summary this time, though, because you got onto me about doing that.
It is 61 episodes into the show. We've watched over 100 movies. We spoil. We do.
Do we tell the people that we spoil before they listen?
I think it's like obvious.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys, if you hadn't seen this, and it's not that big of a deal. I mean, like, other people die.
Yeah. Then I don't know what I would do with Bud White and Ed Exley, Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce, because I think they're both bad and they're in a very different kind of way. They're like different sides of the coin, right? Like Bud is not interested in any of the politics. He cares about he's loyal to his friends. He cares about his friends. He's going to hurt the bad guys, but he also doesn't care about the rule of law. He's going to hurt the bad guys. And I mean, that's one of the things that the movie's talking about. Like the central bad people in this story are the supposed authority, the police. And so it kind of challenges this idea of, being straight-laced and following the rule of law when the people behind that law are corrupt already. How do you do that? How can you do that? Like, and I think the movie kind of wants you to see Ed Exley as the good cop at the very beginning. Like, he's the guy, he's following the law. Like, these cops beat these people that were already in prison. That's wrong. And it is wrong. And he's the one that testifies against them. And the rest of the cops, like, circling the wagon and protecting their own, even when they're doing bad stuff, is bad. And that's 100% absolutely true, right? But how do you remain a good cop when the rule of law that you're following is inherently corrupt in and of itself? And I think that's why I like this movie. A lot of the questions it's asking about these things, and that's why I like noir in general, is because, like, where does morality exist in a world where everything's
the guiding
bad?
Principle is wrong,
right? Exactly. And I think these two characters don't really find it, right? Like,
well, maybe you should just try and organize and overthrow the empire.
See, I don't know if that's always a good idea. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't.
When you trust the leadership that's going to come in and actually do something better.
Right. So anyway, that's me. That's why I picked this movie.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you thought about this movie.
I enjoyed this movie. I liked the style of the movie. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. I liked the acting. Is this like one of those movies that's on top lists of some sort, like of all time? Because I told my sister I was watching this today, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that's always been on my list of things to watch." So is this like a notable movie?
I mean, it won a couple Oscars. It won writing, and I think Kim Basinger.
Then again, I'd never heard of it before you'd mentioned it. She won an Oscar for it.
Yes. I don't know. It's a very good movie.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It's one I would watch it again. It's like the type of movie that is better than just turning it on while I'm doing laundry. Like, I would like to pay attention to it.
The Elise scale is the watching while doing other things scale.
Yes. So this is one that I'd watch it again. I enjoyed it.
What was the plot okay to follow? Because this I think in relation to other noir type stories has a very weavy kind of plot. Like it twists multiple times where you think you know what's going on, like and it takes a while for it to be revealed, because actually the plot of this is fairly complicated in the end, because like there's this night owl killing.
Well, trying to write the summary for it, I was like, there's so many different things that are going on, so let's try and be like slightly vague with it.
They think it's these black guys who did the night owl killing. Turns out they were just being framed for it by the cops because they were black. So there's like, and I think this is a movie that rewards multiple rewatches, and I've seen this movie so many times, but I still see other things. Like I love if you're paying attention to the scene where they run into the other two cops in the garage, where it turns out, we learn later, they're planting the shotguns there instead of just finding the shotguns there. You see like moments where both of those characters like exchange looks at each other, and like knowing glances of like, because they were just going to plant the guns, kill the guys, and then say they were resisting arrest, and it would have been all like that. But we see them give each other like knowing looks throughout the whole thing, and I think it's like you could see clever stuff like that the movie's doing on a second view. So, but were you able to follow the plot generally?
Yeah, generally I was.
When you break it down, it's not actually that complex.
Yeah, when you think back on it, you're like, oh well, that's the end results, and you're working backwards. You see how everything fit together.
Right.
I would be interested to go back and rewatch it again, like knowing the result and then kind of picking up on those subtle things or just bits that I missed the first time around.
Yeah. And I feel like I keep doing that and keep finding something cool. So, yeah.
Your phone made a locking noise.
I'm sorry, I locked my phone.
Well, why were you on your phone?
To check something.
What were you checking?
Twitter.
Why were you checking Twitter?
Because I got a notification and I thought it was important.
And it wasn't important.
You couldn't. No one would have noticed.
Why don't you just put your phone on Do Not Disturb?
No one would have noticed it, but you had to bring it up.
I did, because you locked it and it made a noise.
The mic wouldn't have caught it. It might have.
It might have caught it.
Well, I'm busted. I guess take me downtown.
Busted.
Unless you're the corrupt one.
Of course, I'm the corrupt one.
So let's talk about each one of these cops a little bit. I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
Let's start with the elephant in the room, Mr. Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
So, Ed Vincent is this Jack Vincent. Sorry, I got their first and last names confused. Played by Kevin Spacey is this. It's a character that Kevin Spacey plays very well, which is like a kind of self-absorbed slimeball. Which turns out there was a reason why he played that so well. But
he's not really acting. Is this what you're trying to tell me?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, but he goes through. I think out of anyone in the story, he goes through the biggest turn, right? Because he was the one that was like, all he cared about was the show. He couldn't even remember why he wanted to be a cop. And he had totally lost his way. And then something happens to that kid. That kid gets murdered because of something that he helped set up. And he feels bad for it, and it motivates him to change and to seek justice and to find out what happened and to do this. And of course, the movie punishes him for it because he gets shot and dies, which I think is
spoilers.
Which I think is you've already. I think is the movie, if you ask me, showing what happens to righteousness in this world. It gets punished, and so he's on a path to redemption, and the movie says, "Nope, can't do it." Whereas, moving on to Ed Exley, played by Guy Pearce, Guy Pearce in relation is very good at the straight-laced slimeball.
And this was him fairly young. And everything that I've seen him in, he like looks much more aged. And I just had the hardest time placing him. I was like,
you didn't know that was Guy Pearce at first?
No, the whole movie I was like, oh, I know who this guy is. I know what he's been in. I just can't think of it. And then finally the credits rolled and it said his name. And I was like, that's right, Guy Pearce. Anyways, continue, please.
Yeah, but his dad was a cop, and so he joined the police force because his dad was killed senselessly by a mugger that they never found, and he wanted to bring those people to justice, but somehow along the way he got like jaded and corrupted by the politics of it. But the end of this movie, Guy Pearce kills the bad guy. So the beginning of the movie, he's told, will you make the hard choices? Will you shoot some guy in the back if you know he's guilty, but his lawyers will weasel him out of it? And he says, no, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to make that choice. That is wrong. And by the end of the movie, the system has corrupted him because the guy that is wrong is the captain of the police force and would have weaseled his way out of it. And he shoots him. He kills him. But then
he uses it for his own advantage.
Once again uses it to leverage himself into a better career position. And he ends the movie like with Kim Basinger kind of chastising him, being like, you couldn't help yourself, could you? And he goes, well, they're using me, so I'll use them for a little while. And it's just like this, you're going down the same path you were going. I mean, it's like, yes, you stopped the bad guy. Good job. I'm proud of you. But you're on the same trajectory you were before.
That's true.
And it's like that to me. He's the only of the three detectives in there. He seems to be the only one that's still a member of the force because Bud is horribly wounded. I presume he can't talk anymore. I don't know. He got shot in the mouth, and we don't see him talk in that final scene between him and. He's
gotta let that cheek heal.
Yeah. Bud White is the guy who thought all he was good for was being a brute because he was stupid, and he actually learns. He pieces things together.
He's smart.
He's a smart cop, and he's rewarded for his smart cop by getting shot 3 times. And I mean, he does get Kim Basinger, so good job, Bud. But he's not a cop anymore. He's heading to Arizona to be with her. I don't know.
In Arizona.
Mm-hmm. It was Arizona, right?
It was Arizona.
Because that's where she's from. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Very hot there.
And so it's just like, it's depressing. I mean, yes, on the one hand, they stopped the bad guys. Great job. Bad guys are stopped. Secret heroin trade over. On the other hand, the cop heading towards a redemption arc was killed. The cop learning that he was smart abandons the force. And the cop that was reminding himself of why he got in this in the first place is
dead.
Is corrupted into.
Well, he's dead. The guy that was reminding himself why he got in because he forgot, he's dead.
Well, that's Guy Pearce, and he's not dead.
Kevin Spacey didn't remember why he got into the force. I think he was learning.
Mm-hmm.
He was going back through.
No, but I already covered
dead.
him. I was moving on to Guy Pearce, who's the one who gives the You remember the name? The name of the guy who mugged his dad?
I don't remember. Do you remember?
No, I was hoping you did. I keep wanting to say his name was Sammy Jenkins because it's Guy Pearce, and he was also in Memento, where he said, "Remember Sammy Jenkins."
I don't remember.
Have you seen Memento?
I have seen Memento. I have.
Rollo Tomasi is the name.
Rollo Tomasi.
That it
That's
actually
right.
gave. So yeah, he gives the name Rollo Tomasi as the name he gave the man who killed his father and got away with it. And that is just a reminder of why he's doing this, why he's became a cop, why he wanted to bring justice to people. And at the end, you feel like he brought justice, but still corrupted. No, it's a bummer. But that's Noire, babe.
It is.
It's never a good ending.
Well, it's okay. Our podcast isn't noir. We always have good endings. Don't you think?
I do.
Good.
Elise, tell me what you think LA Confidential told you about relationships.
Um,
Don't fall in love with a prostitute. She will sleep with the cop that you don't like.
I was going to take another route. Well,
Oh.
even if you think that as a parent you have made bad choices, your children can still come out decent in the very end.
Huh?
Yeah, see?
What parent made bad choices?
Bud's parents were not good people. Or maybe the mom was. We don't,
I think.
But the dad was not a good person.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? It really messed him up and he wasn't on the right track. But he ended up all right.
I guess that is definitely a lens to take on this movie. I'm not sure I would have ever done that.
Yeah.
But it is a lens.
It is, isn't it?
It is a lens.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
See
Any
what
other
else?
relationship lessons?
You could think about coworkers. Maybe
we need to frame the word relationship.
what type of relationship are you wanting me to examine here?
I mean, it's a podcast about marriage and the things you make each other like. So I was thinking more on the romantic side of
romantic relationships. If you choose to date a prostitute, you can't get jealous when she screws other people.
That is true.
I think that's an important lesson.
Let that be a lesson to you all out there. If you date someone who sleeps with people for money, she's going to sleep with someone for money.
Yeah.
And punching her after she does that is wrong.
I
mean, let's just punching her at all is wrong. But especially in that case.
I mean,
I think there you go. There it is. That is a relationship lesson we've imparted to our viewers today.
and Sky, just like to let you know, that's not my job.
I
don't do that.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think sex work is a fine profession. What? What? I think people should be free to do whatever the heck they want.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you don't do that. Because I could not handle. I am a monogamous type person.
Okay.
I like this one-on-one deal.
That's good.
And yeah. So
that episode on Easy with that open marriage.
no, did not like that.
I did not like that
did not
either.
like that.
That was not a good decision.
No, for them it wasn't. And look, there's people out there that don't have monogamous relationships, and that's okay as long as both people are consenting and cool with it.
Yeah, and they both were not.
But they were not. They were not.
One was, and then the other wasn't.
And then
he
flippy
flopped, and then she was upset that she had suggested it. And
that's a good show. Have we talked about that show on here?
we haven't.
Easy.
Easy is a good show.
Yeah, it's a series of vignettes. It's like an anthology show on Netflix, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
30-minute episodes for the most part.
Yep.
It's good. It's good.
It is good. I highly suggest it.
But the relationship lesson here is my phone makes a lock noise.
Oh my
and
gosh.
your phone rings. Why don't you put it on Do Not Disturb, Elise?
We both have issues
Why don't you put it on Do Not
today.
Disturb?
We both have faults, don't we?
But yeah, I think that is the most important relationship. Date a prostitute if you want. Expect them to sleep with people. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
And lastly, we finished. This is the last episode of this current theme, so we have 2 movies, and I want to ask you, any similarities between these 2 movies we picked?
They did both have reporters.
They did both have reporters, and
They
the
did
reporters
both have
the reporters were rather corrupt, and the officials of the police officials are rather corrupt.
That is true.
In both.
That is true. Government and police both corrupt in both of them.
And reporting corrupt in both of these movies. So
Very true.
Yeah. Definitely murder. The person who was being unfairly treated because of the crime still did a bad crime. Like, I think that's the interesting thing about the fact that, like, they framed these 3 black men for this horrible massacre of people, and they were innocent of that. Oh, but they also on the side raped a woman, and it was awful and terrible. And while I don't think they should be murdered in cold blood for no reason, I do think they were bad guys. But that's noir, right? It's like even if they're framed for a different crime, don't worry, they still did something bad because everyone is bad. That's the way it works. And I think His Girl Friday would also agree. Just about everyone's bad. There's like maybe 1 or 2 people that aren't bad. In His Girl Friday, it's the girl who fell in love with the murderer. In this, I think who is not bad in this? The one girl's mom, who had the dead man under her house and didn't know it.
Yeah, she didn't know.
I mean, you could argue Kim Basinger is, she's not a bad person.
She's complicit in blackmail.
I guess that's true. She is complicit in blackmail. Yeah. No one's good in this movie.
No.
Nobody's good.
The girl working the records. We don't know if she's bad.
She might be good.
She might be good.
The poor gay guy that got his throat slit. I guess he was being...
This was the second time he was in Hush.
He was being paid to blackmail someone. Everyone in this movie's bad. I can't find a good guy. I can't find one. I'm going to give up. The similarities between these 2 movies is everybody's bad. Humans are bad. Tough rap for us humans. We're all bad. All you can do is be the least bad of the bads. What's wrong?
I think Maggie farted.
You don't have to talk about that on mic every week. This is the second week in a row we've talked about it.
Well, you asked me what was wrong.
Well, don't make weird faces at me while I'm talking. I think it's about me.
It's always about you.
Okay, so that's LA Confidential.
Yeah.
And His Girl Friday and Murder, She Wrote. I enjoyed both those movies. This was
a good week.
Where we both had movies we both really, really liked.
Yeah.
And I like that.
It was a good week.
We should try to do that more often.
We should, shouldn't we?
Yeah. You need to work on that. Elise. I'm getting a look, ladies and gentlemen. Getting a look.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about next week. What are we doing? What are we doing? New theme? What are we doing?
Yeah, so Father's Day is coming up. And so in order to honor our dads, we decided to this year pick movies with like strong dad characters, fun dad characters, movies with dads that we liked.
Dads We Love is the
Dads
the
We
name
Love.
of it.
I forgot what I named it. Dads We Love. Yeah.
And I selected National Lampoon's Vacation, the 1983 film that introduced us to Chevy Chase's Clark Griswold.
This was the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Elise, of course, has seen the remake of Vacation.
Oh, so good.
Well,
so good.
We're gonna let's hold off on that fight because
oh my gosh, I love it so much.
I need you to see this version.
Everyone should watch the remake as opposed to the original. If you've seen the original already, watch the remake in preparation for this week.
So we're gonna watch that first. My movie is first, and then what is your choice again that we're gonna watch the week after next?
3 Men and a Baby.
3 Men and a Baby. Those are kind of dads. They're gifted with a baby.
Yep.
I saw that movie a long time ago. I do not remember what happens other than it has Tom Selleck.
Yeah, it does have Tom Selleck.
It has Tom Selleck in it and a baby and 2 more men,
and 2
presumably.
more men? Yeah.
Because there's 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And that's all I remember about it. So that'll be basically a new experience for me. And you've never seen Vacation, so we did good. But we'll be back next week to talk about National Lampoon's Vacation, a movie that I have seen many, many times and love so much.
Good, I'm glad. We'll see if I do.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Until then, Elise,
I love you.
if you like this podcast, you can check
it's not
and
that
all
time
the other
yet.
shows.
Okay.
No, you were early.
Bummer.
And all the other
I
shows
don't. I take it
over
back.
at our website, doofmedia.com. That's where you can find the Doofcast, where this past week we covered the second season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, a very popular show I'm finding based on our download numbers on that show. People really like Avatar. I had no idea.
Fire.
Wind, water, heart. Oh, wait, that's...
Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna bring pollution down to zero.
Hey, Elise.
Yeah.
If they want to support our podcast, how do they do
You
that?
may go to patreon.com/doofmedia and donate whatever amount you would like. You can donate as little as $1 or as much as your entire bank account.
I don't actually know what the highest level amount is. Presumably there is a high level amount. $1,000 a month.
I bet you could do it more than 1,000.
Also, if you happen to be listening via Apple's podcasting platform, please head on over to there and drop us a rating and a review. We will read them live. I say live. We'll read them on the show. Elise will read them.
Would you like me to read them live?
Yeah.
I could read them live.
Sure. That's it. That's all we have this week.
That's it.
It's a weird episode. It's the middle of the day. It feels weird to record in the middle of the day.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day.
You won't be listening to this on Memorial Day, but
No,
I
it'll
hope
be
you
over.
memorialized.
You'll be back to work like me, unfortunately.
Not me.
Well, good for you, Elise. Good for you.
Thanks.
Hey, it's time now. I love you.
I love you too.
Did you hear someone on film Twitter decided
I didn't hear.
to use Han Solo and Leia's relationship as an example of a toxic relationship for why people shouldn't be like getting excited about romance in Star Wars movies? Because they said that her saying "I love you" and him saying "I know" was an example of emotional abuse.
Interesting.
I hate Twitter.
Then maybe you should get off of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Good. Glad we had the conversation. Bye.
Emotional abuse. What the fuck?